Hello, our project is image captioning using neural networks. Our group members are Austin, Deepak, Ayang, Shengyo, and I'm Andrew. In our project, we used Keras with TensorFlow on the back end to create a generative model that does image captioning. We trained our model using extracted features and caption vocabulary from the Flickr 30K dataset. A brief overview, we'll talk about tools and previous work, as well as techniques. We'll discuss our architecture, feature extraction, model, prediction, and we'll go through an example, we'll do the evaluation, we'll talk about some challenges and some future work. The tools we used for our project were Keras with TensorFlow on the back end. TensorFlow is Google's machine learning library, an open source software library for numerical computations using data flow graphs. To do efficient numerical computations in Python, we typically use libraries like NumPy to do expensive operations such as matrix multiplication outside of Python, using highly efficient code implemented in another language. Unfortunately, there is a lot of overhead that can come from switching back between Python to do these operations. TensorFlow ends up doing the heavy lifting outside of Python, but it takes things a step further to avoid this overhead. Instead of running many single expensive operations outside of Python, TensorFlow describes a graph of interactive operations, not executing these computations until the graph has been built and a session is run. Keras is a high-level neural network API written in Python and capable of running on top of either TensorFlow or Thano. It was developed with the focus of embedding fast experimentation, enabling. We used Keras because it allows for easy, fast prototyping, supports both convolutional neural networks and recurrent neural networks, also a combination of the two, and it runs seamlessly on a CPU and GPU. There are several neural network implementations for image captioning. Karpathy's Neural Talk chooses Caffe on the back end, Google's Image to Text implemented in TensorFlow, as well as O'Reilly's Show and Tell model also uses TensorFlow. We studied all of these different frameworks in doing our research. We decided to use Keras ultimately because we couldn't find an implementation using Keras yet. Our architecture we'll delve more deeply into later in the video. For a brief overview, we'll talk. We take the Flickr 30K dataset and use a visual geometry group convolutional neural network with 16 layers to extract the features that we'll use to train our model as well as generate captions. We then create an LSTM cell, recurrent neural network, with 6 layers using Keras. For this cell, we have 4 inputs: image features, captions, a mask, and a current position. The model then uses Atom stochastic gradient descent optimization in Keras, along with backpropagation to update the weights. To generate the captions, we apply a soft max to get the word with the highest probability. We then feed this caption, along with the other inputs, back into our model, and continue to generate a caption one word at a time until we hit a period. Next, Shengyo will detail further the extraction process.
Hi, I'm Zhengguo. I'm going to talk about feature extraction and our model. For feature extraction, we use VGG16 to extract features from raw image. VGG16 network consists of convolutional layer, pooling layer, and fully connected layer. Only the last 3 layers are fully connected layers. And it takes input image with size 224 times 224. So first we need to resize our image, and then we feed that into the VGG network. However, VGG16 network was designed to do classification. Therefore, the output of VGG16 network is a vector of 1000 dimension, indicate which category the input image belongs to. This is not exactly what we want, but we figure out that we can get the output from the second last layer, the FC2 layers, which present the features of an image. And that's how we get our features. For our LSTM model, we have 4 inputs: the features, caption, mask, and position of the word in a sentence. We do this as a category problem. So the category here is the word in our dictionaries. First, the input caption will go through a word embedding layer, then concatenate with other inputs, and then they go through the LSTM cell. To prevent the model from overfitting, we add dropout layer and batch normalization layer. And finally, we get output from the activation layer, which use softmax. The loss function here is categorical cross entropy. And next, Deepak will talk about how to get prediction from this model.
Hi, I'm Deepak. I'm going to talk about prediction. Unlike traditional RNNs, an LSTM network is well suited to learn from experience to classify, process, and predict. LSTM networks have been used successfully in the following tasks: language modeling, machine translation, handwriting generation, image generation using attention models, question answering, video to text, and so on. In our project, we create a LSTM cell using keras with 256 neurons and feed it with the trained weights which were obtained after running Flickr 30K dataset. Our LSTM has the following dimensions: input dimension of 4096, embedding dimension of 256, and a training batch size of 128. Having smaller batch size for training helps in controlling the memory usage and the number of updates that propagate through the network. Extracted image features from VGG16, the current world, mask, and current position are fed as inputs to our LSTM cell. Mask is used to record previous words so that LSTM is aware of the predictions it has made so far. We begin our prediction with the start tag and terminate when we reach period. At each iteration, a best word is chosen which has the highest probability of becoming the next word in sentence, and an array with indices to most probable words is returned. During preprocessing, we create a dictionary that maps index to words so that all phases of our model are referring to the same coherent vocabulary. Now the array returned from prediction is used to map indices to meaningful words from vocabulary. We make, we make use of dropout and batch normalization to avoid overfitting, regularize, and improve optimization. Now Hyung will speak further with an example.
Hi, I'm Hyung. I'll talk about how the model generates a caption. So this is the example of a caption that is generated by our model, and I will talk about the process in more detail. So the start of the sentence is indicated by start tag, and the process starts with inputting the caption and the position, which is the position of the sentence. These go through a word embedding layer as shown from the image. Then the image features and the embedding words are also merged with masks and input in the concatenation block in the image. To explain more about masks, it is used to record the previous words that was used in captions so that the model knows the words before the current word. And input the model with current position of the sentence so that it will not fall into a loop. To be more specific, loop here would be a caption that looks like men in a white shirt in a white shirt in white shirt instead of men in white shirt in a garden, which is the original caption. After captions goes through the embedding layer, position and caption gets concatenated. And all of the four inputs, image, feature, caption, position, and mask, will be merged and go through the LSTM cell. Then the output of the LSTM goes through the dropout layer and batch normalization layer so that it can avoid overfitting. Finally, the activation softmax layer is applied and returns with the result. Softmax returns with the index with highest probability of words, and after going through interpreting block, it maps and returns the word with the index. The result itself is a vector with each entry representing the possibility of every word in the dictionary. The word with largest probability would be our best word. Along with pre-built dictionary, this vector is used to interpret the generated next word, a mapping of an index into word. And the return result serves as an input for the next iteration. Also, the word can be seen from the example image. The first predicted word will be marked as mask input. The position of the input will progress. And this iteration will continue until the model predict period, which indicates the end of the process. And finally, generate the caption for an image. Next, Austin will talk about evaluation, challenges, and future work.
Hi, this is Austin. For our evaluation, we used a standard natural language benchmark called the BLUE score. As can be seen here, the evaluation of our model resulted in pretty good success. We were able to take images from the Flickr 8K dataset, such as the pictures on the left, and predict with a high accuracy as to what they depicted. And while the images on the right had a lower prediction accuracy, they still managed to capture a small portion of the depicted image. So, how does the BLUE score work? Well, first off, it's an algorithm that was developed as a method for the automatic evaluation of machine-translated language. So obviously, it's easy to see how it can be applied to what we were doing. The quality of a sentence corresponds between the machine-translated output and that of a human. As described by Papineni, one of the algorithm's authors, the closer a machine translation is to a professional human translation, the better it is. A simple introduction to the workings of the BLUE score algorithm can be seen in this example. Here the candidate sentence consists of 7 does in a row. How the BLUE algorithm works is by making an n-gram, in this instance a unigram, comparison to a reference sentence, and then, in a way, removing a word after it's been used. This results in the comparison to reference 1 here, where the underlined does are the only part that the candidate sentence is able to match on. This is how we end up with a modified unigram precision score of 2 out of 7. That is, the candidate sentence has only 2 of its 7 words matching the reference sentence that we're comparing it against. Using this same method, but also including up to 4 grams in our comparison, this is how we were able to evaluate images such as a dog is in the water to a BLUE score accuracy of 87.6. Overall, when evaluating our 1,000 images, our scores ranged from 60.55 to 89.95, with an approximate average of 74.8. Next, I'll show an example of our project working on an image. As we can see here, it actually does a pretty good job. A dog is carrying a ball on the left. A dog is carrying a field. Not quite, but still gets across a pretty good message. A dog is running through a field, and a dog runs through the grass. I'd say good job. So, next, we talk about some of the challenges we faced. First off, we had no idea as to how to build a neural network. So, aside from learning that, we also had to learn how to use all the tools that we ended up utilizing to do so, and also some of the ones that we didn't use as well. Like, for example, initially we had tried to build this model with Caffe. Also, we had to learn how to build a specific model to fulfill the requirements that we had. For example, we had to use a multimodal neural network, which was no easy task. And then also, the classic challenge that we ran into was when generating a caption, it fell into a loop. So, for example, this was when it was going to generate a sentence on an image like a man and a bike and a bike and a bike. Well, the reason for this was actually kind of diagrammed, or that is, you can see in this diagram as to why it happened. Initially, when we were creating the LSTM, we weren't including the current caption position. So we only had the image, the caption, and the mask going in without the position. That position is what we needed, though, to keep us continuing on instead of getting stuck in that loop. Finally, for future work, we found through research that something called beam search for our model would have resulted likely in even better captions. This is because when reading more about beam search, it not only grabs the next best word for the current caption, which is what we're currently doing, but it also keeps track of n different sentences that result in different scores, thus eventually choosing the best sentence from those n. We also could have optimized our model by using something called gated recurrent units, GRU, instead of LSTM. What it does is it combines the forget and input gates of an LSTM into a single update gate, creating a more computationally efficient model while still giving similar results. And then lastly, of course, our favorite, fine-tuning the parameters. Credits, or that is work allocation, is described here. And then, of course, all of this could not be done without Professor Chris Kettleson. Thank you very much.